Greetings, my friend. I'm Gilles Mansillon. I wanted to come and to discuss briefly today the fundamental principle of the tree of life, as opposition to the tree of knowledge that's been taught here. But before that, I wanted to talk about the idea that well, we can talk about this now. We can start with that. But the idea is to understand that what's been taught here is the tree of knowledge, the separation of good and evil, and that is the evil in reality. And the tree of life has no opposition. It is the one love that is God. There is no separation between good and evil, and so the idea, every time you cultivate, you think, you feel a sense of peace, love, and unity, you are participating in the reconnection of the whole of humanity to the higher dimension. For it's not a good idea to fight. We have to deny the illusion of separation to exist, rather than to fight against it. It's very important, because there will always be new conflicts coming up, as long as we believe in the two powers, us against them. So it is important to realize here it's only about this sphere of reality was given, that this tree of this knowledge of good and evil was so that we could be educated as to become full creator, to have a rapport of relationship in terms of what does create joy and happiness and what creates suffering. Yet some beings have abused those powers. And so, but here it's all about contrast and choices. For it's like, do we come to a sphere where where it's outside of, in the illusion that we can be outside of God, outside of the truth, outside of the beauty, outside of the love, outside of the love. So it's like this is what we call that an illusion. But all the darkness externally, I'm going to talk about the principles of the law of one. You probably heard it before, but I thought it was good to reiterate it. All the external darkness is not that powerful in relationship to our own inner darkness, our own demons, our own ego, our own shadows. So that is really where we need to address things. Once we have addressed it, we have accepted our dark side, and we have integrated. It is under control. It is under the wise supervision of our soul. Then we can start to feel more empowered. For all happens within divine timing. Regardless of all the earth circumstances and the appearance, there is something amazing that's being prepared. All is orchestrated from on high, and everything is planned for the highest outcome and highest destiny for all. For me, I see that I'm very lucky. There is some amazing things that are coming. And I wanted to say that you cannot blame people for living within their own bubble, their own reality. Within a lot of people are not ready to let go of the illusions of 3D. They're too comfortable there. So you got to allow them, to give them the time. God will see how to wake them up and when to do that. And you cannot blame God for giving more to some, to less to others. In the Quran, it's like God explains. You have to accept that God has given much more to some than some others, but everybody's learning different lessons. So right now we're going to see all kinds of futilities in the media. We're realizing it is all because this program has been taken over. Our DNA has been hijacked by reptilians a long time ago to keep humans separated from the source at all cost. And those beings could not exist in the human world. So they've created hybrids that can exist within the human world, and they have taken position in the finance, in the politics, and in the media, and they're still trying to utilize that to control the world. But there is such a great awakening; it's not going to be for very long. And so be ready to see all kinds of absurd situations. It is really created to awaken people. For there is a drama unfolding in third dimension, but there is beyond the illusion, there is this truth of God. So this law of one, it was the original teaching of the Emerald Covenant, or the the law of one, the tree of knowledge, the tree of life, is really what needs to be reintegrated within all systems of education. So of course, we don't teach it the same way to little children that we teach it to adults, but those principles are principles. There are certain principles that have been explained before by many other vehicle messengers or so on. But the Galactic are applying, they know that, they have integrated that, or everybody that's on the higher planes know those principles, they are laws, in a sense. And they cannot be changed. The good thing is like they can only be denied in an illusions. And those principles are, I'm going to talk about 5 of them to start with. The first one is the principle of existence. You here and now. You will always be you here and now. There can never be anything else. You can never be. If you were not created by the Creator, you would not exist. The question would not be able to talk about this. But you are here. You exist. You will always exist in one form or another, in one way or another. Of course, in the illusion, they can tell you once your body dies, you no longer exist. But that is an illusion. The law tells you, even before the creation, in the manifestation of who you are, you have already existed within the mind and heart of God. So we always have existed and will always exist. The law of existence, and we cannot change that. We can complain about it, but we cannot change that. And so, the second principle is the law of inclusion. We can never be outside of life, outside of God, outside. Even those who are so far away and opposing the law, opposing God, opposing love, opposing truth, are still within the law on the outskirts. And the law will reflect them in time, what they need to learn. But nothing can be external. The Creator, the consciousness of life, is all-inclusive, and we can never be. So it's not about. So in the illusion, they tell you, life, you have to go and fight outside of yourself to obtain what you need in order to survive. But when you go into this new when you understand this principle, you rely on your inner divinity, and you know, because God is the third principle is that all is one and one is all. Infinity is, every being contains the totality of God. It was Empédocle, the philosopher, who discovered that infinity was hidden within all beings and all things. They tried to put him away because they couldn't understand it at the time. That was a long time ago, about 3,000 years ago. But so it's like this principle of infinity, the all is one and one is all. It means we are all the essence and substance of the Creator. For there is not anyone is more of God than anyone else. How much what he so it's like it's not about God loving more one being or another. It's about how much the soul is capable to receive, to remember, to integrate. And so, and God is understanding of where we are as a soul on the higher planes, and will give us a proper path. So it's understanding that all that comes through our consciousness is also come from God, the good, the bad, and the ugly. But just so we make choices and we purify ourselves all the way to the point where our divinity takes precedence. So the third law is that all is one and one is all. There is nothing that is outside or can be the separation. We can never be separated from God, in truth, and we've never been separated from God. That's why we call this world an illusion. The next principle is the law of cause and effect, the law of karma, or the law of attraction. This is a very subtle law. It's very difficult sometimes to understand how it works. But whatever we produce, we'll have to harvest. Whatever we create, we'll have to experience. So just continue to cultivate the positive, even if it doesn't manifest right away. Continue to stay connected to the positive, the law of cause and effect, because we live in a dark matter universe that's based on causality, cause and effect, and free will. Because depending on what our choices may be, our choice is the cause, and then the consequences God are reflecting us the consequences of every choice. Yet we are supervised and framed and assisted by our guides. We're not left alone there. So this principle, the famous law of karma, of attraction, and then the last principle I want to discuss today here is the principle of transformation. All all beings and all things are constantly, eternally in transformation. So what does not change is the law, the laws, the law of evolutions. Because each universe was God created a certain set of law. Here it's a magnetic universe, so we have those laws. But if you go into another universe, that's not magnetic universe, you may have to deal and learn the different laws. So God, the laws do not change, and the source do not change. The creator do not change. For they are on the absolute level, they are only one absolute, one infinity. But for all sub-absolute beings, such as ourselves, an absolute is something that has no beginning, no end, that does not exist in time, does not exist in space, and cannot change. For those who trying to understand the absolute, which is there is 7 co-absolutes within infinity that is recognized by the celestial and higher intelligence. The first 3 are personal, existential, the universal Father, the eternal Son, the infinite Spirit. The fourth one is an existential, non-personal, which is the central isle of light and life, paradise. And there are 3 absolute, experiential absolutes that are forces in the universe. They're quite mysterious because they've never been realized in the universe. They are paradise energies, they say. The first one is the deity absolute, which is the everything that is personifiable on the absolute level. Then you have the unqualified absolute. Everything that is non-spiritual, non-personifiable, cannot be associated with personal divinity. And then you have the universal absolute that creates a balanced energy between the personal and the non-personal. Of course, the deity absolute will one day be recognized as a person, although in the universe it has never been. It's recognized on paradise. We know it already exists, but it hasn't manifested in the universe, in the cosmos. And the unqualified absolute cannot be recognized as a person. It's more like an intelligence, a force, something very mysterious. And the universal absolute is I don't see it as a person either. I see it as a balancing act. And so, but in truth, there is only one infinity, which probably recognize it as the universal Father. For here, what we're seeking is to integrate the value of the Supreme. The Supreme is the God of time and space, truth, beauty, and goodness. Once we'll have mastered that, we'll find the Supreme, we'll realize the Supreme consciousness, all that is, Adonai, Allah, Brahma. We'll realize it is the universal Father. And then we'll be sent outside, beyond time and space, to search for a transcendental deity, the ultimate, known as the ultimate. The ultimate is far more than the super supreme. It's something quite mysterious. And once those values in the eternal future will be integrated as the supreme ultimate, we'll have to be looking for God on the absolute level, the deity absolute. But those things may be a little bit spiritual, and I don't want to. Their concept a little bit outside of the main frame of what we need to integrate. What we seek is love, is peace, is joy, is to share good times, to experience physicality in the best possible way, to assist the world, to love ourselves, to follow our heart, our passion, to express the truth, to do all we can to be of assistance, also to elevate the planet and to remove all the separation. Well, I hope this message was interesting for you. I thank you very much. Not to forget to subscribe. I thank you for your likes, your sharing, your comments. I thank you so very much for your donations. I'm going to pull a few cards. For today, the card of the day is the happy circumstances. There is quite something very magical that is coming, that is happening. It's really a blessing, a miracle. The higher wisdom is breathing. To be serene, to be just in the breath, to live within the breath of God. The universe breathes. That's why they speculated on this Big Bang because we're in expiration mode, and so there is an expansion in the universe. But we're getting close to the end of that cycle. The universe is going to stand still and stop. An ascension is possible on a universal level, and then there's going to be an inspiration. God's going to bring everything for 2 billion years. God is going to bring everything. So it's like this idea of Big Bang will no longer be soon. Will be. I think it's already. Questions, it's already been broken up. But so what we need to understand is peace. For the universe is eternal. We'll agree with Albert Einstein or Plato that the universe is eternal. There is no. Yet it is evolving and growing. It's the central universe is the one that always have been. So it's like those are kind of complex spiritual project of education. What we need to understand is peace, to continue to cultivate the peace. And when we breathe deeply, we bring more oxygen, and oxygen brings lucidity and serenity into our physical vehicle. What we need to do is, it's my card of the day today. I pulled out a card this morning. It's the solid foundation. Our connection to the source and to God and our intention is really what creates this very solid foundation. And the outcome is into the sea. We're going to be able to jump into the sea, to traverse the ocean of consciousness. For right now, life is like a river. We don't want to go against the flow. We want to flow. Once we get into the ocean, everything stops. We move at the 0 point, at which point we'll have to learn to navigate this ocean of consciousness all the way back to the source. Well, I hope this message was interesting for you. I have this song that I sang the other day, but it's been through my mind the whole night. I'm not really sure why, so I sing it again. It's called Dream a Little Dream of Me. Stars shining bright above you, night breezes seem to whisper I love you, birds singing in the sycamore tree, dream a little dream of me. Say nighty night and kiss me, just hold me tight and tell me you'll miss me, while I'm alone and blue as can be. Dream a little dream of me. Stars fading, but I linger on, dear, still craving your kiss. I'm longing to linger till dawn, dear. Just say this, yes. Sweet dreams till sunbeams find you. Sweet dreams that leave all worries behind you. But in your dreams, whatever they be, dream a little dream of me. Dream a little dream of me. Some kind of good news that were coming down. Somebody tell me I'm going to be able to see a dentist. It's going to be really nice. I'll get a wardrobe, get my house. It's going to be really, really nice. And then I'm going to have to, I'm going to be really, Spirit is asking me to play and have fun. So I'm ready for that. We'll have to find a balance between what we express, what we show, and then what we keep to ourselves as well. So I don't really know. We'll see. Take it one day at a time. The observer of the day, the card of the day is knowledge. Rely on the information that comes from within first, and integrate those principles of law, the law of inclusion, the law of existence, the law of karma, the cause and effect, the law of oneness, and the law of transformation. Those will never change. So you can rely on those. It's scientific. It is not just a philosophical idea. The higher wisdom is to listen. Listen to your heart. Listen to what makes sense. Listen to the truth. Listen to the more and more the more our mind becomes quiet, the more the mirror of life becomes effective. What needs to be understood is a purification. There is a purification. We need to continue to purify our mind, our intention, our physicality. Detoxification, de-densification. What we need to do is the dreams. We need to cultivate these dreams, and eventually it's going to manifest the dreams. and the outcome is patience. And we still need to be patient, to be paused, to be ready also, to be ready and to patience, hope, and then we have authenticity. So it's sometimes God is giving us more time to wait just because he has some ideas about something we need to do before it happens. So it's all the process. Well, I hope this message was interesting for you. Wish you a wonderful day, a wonderful weekend, and I'll talk to you later. Namaste.